नहीं नहीं
Okay. Thank you, admin. So I welcome all the key speakers and participants to this third session of our webinar, which is focusing on post-COVID urban planning. Today also we have got the four key speakers. The first one is Shri Anup Kumar Srivastavji, Chief Town Planner of Planning Department, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Professor Dr. Meenakshi Dhote, Head of Environment Planning Department, School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. Shri Ramduji, Director, Town and Country Planning Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh. And Dr. Kiran Sandhuji, Associate Professor, Guru Ramdas School of Planning and Planning, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. I welcome Madam, and perhaps you might be knowing I was the first teacher in GRS School of the Planning in the year 1971, first teacher rather. Just to recall, in part 2, very important issues were raised, and we will be happy if some of the key speakers today throw some light on these issues. The first key speaker on the part 2 said that high density areas of the Delhi were also suffered due to COVID, because in the part 1 it was said that the only low density areas were suffered and not the high density. So the first speaker on the second workshop or the seminar, she raised this particular issue that not only the low density areas were suffering, but high density areas also suffered. She suggested to have the integrated planning with the nature. Migrated population may not come back. That is what she said. The next issue which was raised was involve the public participation and adopt innovation solutions. The second key speaker said that widening of the footpaths and the provision of the cycle tracks is imminent due to the COVID situation. She has also suggested that e-governance, that is minimum interaction without physical presence, is required to be ensured. Dependency on the transport be reduced through digital public offices and digital education, she has suggested. The next key speaker also suggested walk to work and co-working, requirement of the transport to be reduced, focus on the integrated development of small and medium towns. She has also suggested to relook TOD requirements in the current situation. Immediate, short, and long-term interventions are required to be focused. This is what she suggested. Decentralize of the core areas, specifically shifting of the offices, marketplaces, and industries from the core areas has also been suggested. The fourth key speaker has given a very sweeping remarks how we will build our cities in the lockdown. And she has also said planning cannot be problem solving exercise. It should be new normals. And the last point she raised is that equitable provision of the supply and accessibility of services should be ensured. And the very sweeping remarks was given why we build our cities when we cannot take our cars. If some of the issues you can throw some lights, we'll be very happy. And so also the participants will be very happy. As I have said, Director in Town and Country Planning Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Earlier to this assignment, he was also Director, Planning and Development in Andhra Pradesh Capital Regional Development Authority. He was also Additional Chief City Planner of Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation and also of the Greater Visakhapatnam Municipal Corporation. In fact, he is an organized individual with vision-driven approach. Shri Ramdu has 25 years of experience in policy formulation. He has done AMIM in civil engineering from Institute of Engineers, has done associateship examination of the Institute of Town Planners India equivalent to the post-graduation, and he has also done the post-graduation in alternative dispute resolution methods. Besides that, he has also done the LLB. He is also the council member of the Institute of Town Planners India. The major achievements of its credit is, he is the author of Auto DCR online building permission approval system, first of its kind in the Andhra Pradesh. He has long list of the achievements. I will not take it. but would like to give him more time. I am sure that we will notice his achievements and experience from his presentation. We invite Shri Ramduji to make his presentation. Ramduji.
Good morning, sir. I wish you many more returns of the day, sir, on the occasion of your birthday.
Thank you.
So now this discussion, there is a lot of discussion and research is happening all over the world in their respective fields to identify the appropriate solutions for the post-COVID conditions. Every crisis presents an opportunity. COVID-19 make a mark on cities that echoes for generations. Planners can consider this opportunity for research and bold reforms in planning. Being multidisciplinary profession, sky is the limit for us. Ancient literature and practices pertaining to settlement planning needs to be studied in depth to adapt, duly modifying to the present conditions. The aim of this presentation is to revisit the spatial strategies for regional and urban planning in post-COVID conditions. To identify optimum planning unit to cater the needs of micro, community, neighborhood level, to meet the day-to-day economic, social, and cultural aspects. To discuss changes in zoning regulations in the light of experience gained in COVID. To derive an appropriate inputs in control regulations. Implementation strategies to improve living conditions in rural clusters, urban, and entire region as a whole. So present, everybody knows this, present conditions in urban areas, psychological stigma of affected person, their family, and the people living who are in quarantine, home quarantine. So many issues are there. Psychological issues are facing. Social isolation. Even colony, people are not allowing any person coming from outside, though he belongs to that particular colony. That is the fear they are having. This quarantine life has given us the time and opportunity to rethink the way we approach the environment and role we can play to conserve it. As town planning is multidisciplinary activity, we need to absorb knowledge of situation, research on ancient science, along with modern town planning principles, UDPF guidelines as amended from time to time. The health hazards caused by slums in Mumbai and other cities highlighted the need for rapid redevelopment in all towns and cities. The planning of new development areas, redevelopment of existing localities within urban areas, renewal of pockets to be taken up on priority. The spatial planning shall be aimed to bring back the economic order with a view, with a new direction, with lessons learned. And actually, CPWD has published a book, 2014, regarding stress radiation, which emanates from the earth. It is at a distance of spacing of 5 to 20 meters. These radiations affect the people living that particular locality or particular town or particular room. So many researches have been done. Geopathic stress lines can be identified in a particular site while planning a colony or city or even a building. These can be rectified. These are all the suggestions made by Central Public Works Department. It is necessary to train the planners, engineers, and architects in this field. One more thing is labor assessment shall be made region-wise and should be planned in regional planning system. Appropriate sectors shall be recommended at regional level for generating employment and also to attract investments. Ancient Indians used to construct houses in places where cows, horses, elephant used to settle and sleep, as these animals could select places free from harmful radiation. So, as you know, bats and so on, cats, there are reasons for our COVID situation. So bats, cats, bees, and wasps settle and prefer geopathic stress zones, and those areas were avoided in those days. So this needs to be studied in depth to identify even at least new areas, and also even if something negative energy is there in that particular location, necessary remedies can be proposed. Further research is required on this. One more thing, actually, at neighborhood level and zoning regulations level, we need to allow home offices, nursing supermarkets in relatively wider roads in residential areas to natural conditions.
Namoji, please check your mic.
Ramduji, speak in your mic.
Mike, sir,
Please
is it
speak
clear
in your
now?
mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
sir.
is okay now.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, existing developed areas needs to be rejuvenated by preparing area development plans. Lands will be identified and procured within the developed area by offering TDR any planning intervention or by paying compensation. We are planning in the master plan level and layout level, but whatever the population living in already developed areas need to be concentrated and their living conditions needs to be improved. This is the lesson from existing conditions. Even in Vijayawada and our Guntur, the areas which are highly congested and with narrow roads and also with small dwelling units of 100 square feet or 50 square feet are there. So these areas are mostly affected in this COVID condition. The acquiring of land acquisition should be top priority. Government of India is providing funds for under many schemes, Amrut and all, but land acquisition being state subject, they are not providing funds. But funds, if sufficient funds are provided for acquiring lands within the developed area by offering appropriate compensation, we can definitely able to advise acquire that land to provide required amenities and required parking places, and also to widen the roads. Even in small towns like 50 to 70,000 population, they are facing parking problem and also traffic congestion. These are all the situations prevailed all over urban areas in our state, and maybe similar situation in other states. Now, due to recent amendments in Agriculture Market Committee Acts by few states, decentralization of markets to neighborhood level is possible with private markets. So far, markets are being organized with the government intervention, and also private middlemen used to play major role. So we can propose markets of appropriate size in residential neighborhoods and clusters to avoid poor congestion. As we have seen in this market, in this COVID condition, many people they are rushing to the markets and they are staying for hours together in the queue. To avoid that situation, we need to have local markets. We have to encourage this, and also in zoning regulations level and also building control levels, sky gardens in high-rise buildings can be permitted, which can be excluded in FSI calculations. These can be allowed for the buildings having 10 or above floors. If any building is having 10 floors, after 5th floor level, we can allow sky garden with the height of 6 meters, where you can have greenery and required amenities for the residents. In addition to the ground level, organized open spaces, setbacks, and any amenities proposed. This is additional facility that we can propose, so that builders, if it is not calculated in FSI, definitely they can able to provide these sky gardens, which will be beneficial for the residents in the case of home office working conditions. They can relax at this level for certain time they can spend. This is about neighborhood level concept. As everybody knows about city level, township level, and neighborhood level facilities required. So I'm not going to discuss about this because everybody is expert in planning and everything. This is our layout prepared in master plan for Amaravati. Various amenities proposed within walkable distance. Each community center is within 5 minutes walking distance, and for public transport, it is available at 10 minutes public walking distance. Many roads are made with dead ends to avoid interference of external traffic. Duly considering the external circulation network pattern. This is how it is made. Each small circle, this small circle is one community, 4 circle, one neighborhood. 4 neighborhoods is a town center. This is a town for a self-contained township having appropriate level of. So in new towns we can propose all these things, new areas. But my intention is as more than 30% people are living in urban areas, already living in where all these amenities or appropriate locations are not available. We need to provide all these locations. If required, we can pay more compensations also for the benefit of citizens living in the cities. This is a small plan proposed for individual house unit. How we can propose spacing and all. Any person coming into house, familiar person, non-familiar person, and also person antiseptic area and all this can be think of while planning individual residential houses. So what are the regulations now we are following are coined way back in 19th century as a measure against respiratory diseases in crowded slums in 19th century. These regulations are still valid at building level. Implementation of building regulations needs to be stringent. So I already have explained about CBWD publication in 2014 for the mitigation of electromagnetic stress lines in built spaces. See, within the building also there are electromagnetic stress lines, stress points also there. For example, computer, refrigerator, cell phone. We need to maintain, as per research, we need to maintain 2 feet distance from all these things, 2 to 3 feet distance. One more idea already recognized by the World Health Organization. A report was published where sick building syndrome was identified. This sick building syndrome needs to be tackled even at our implementation level. In building control, building approval level, we can verify the any syndromes of this thing, and also in existing buildings also there should be an exclusive team to identify all such buildings whenever any complaint is received or some research can be made to identify such buildings and rectify in appropriate measure to avoid suffering of persons living in those buildings. Okay, in short, others. So, as we already know, buildings of higher income group and higher middle income group are lying vacant. Even already constructed building and also buildings under construction, there are unsold flats are there. But at the same time, as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned, there is shortage of 27.5 lakh houses. As per the recent survey made by Government of Andhra Pradesh, we have identified 27.5 lakh houseless people in Andhra Pradesh. They are in need of housing. This housing we are proposing independent, we are not proposing any apartment like thing. We are proposing independent houses with appropriate plot size, and also wherein we are proposing regular road widths of layout rules and all. In addition to that, we are proposing 5% additional open space to accommodate for common facilities like common parking, to park their autos, rickshaws, any or cabs on all things. Because being a small residential unit, small plot, they cannot afford to park their vehicle within their plot. So we have proposed 5% of area for this purpose in our new layouts proposed for these 27.5 lakh houses. This is recent development. One more thing, my suggestion is, while approving any large-scale development or community halls, schools, convention centers, there shall be condition laid down which can be converted as shelters in the event of any emergency situation arises. Provision shall be made to avail them as shelters for needy people. Already TV towers, radio towers, cell towers. So these are all this magnetic radiation we need to take into consideration. Even while positioning these towers and all above the building, there should be 6 meters above the roof. 6 meters above the roof, these towers shall be permitted. This refrigerator and also the emits radiation, it needs to be sufficiently away from the normal area. So voltage converter, all these things, we should be cautious about all these things while planning individual buildings. All of you know about the radiation effects and all. One thing is there, planning plans for all towns and cities, even JS plans are being made, but landowners, they are coming up with bad implementation process because they are dividing their lands unauthorizedly. You have identified 25,000 acres of land subdivided unauthorizedly. Sometimes it is not there even on the ground. It is there in registration department, registered as a plot of 120 and 150 square meters. So this is fate of thing. So we have intervened in this. We did a lot of exercise and influenced the revenue department with the consent of Honorable Chief Minister. We made effort to stop further registrations in all these unauthorized subdivisions. So we are trying to regularize all these things, bringing them into planning fold by instituting appropriate road width and also by proposing appropriate open spaces for future needs. So this area is one area we need to conserve, because we need to consider, in our case, only 90% buildings are individual buildings, less than 200 square meters. Individual residential buildings are being permitted in Andhra Pradesh. Apartments and high-rise buildings are only few in number. It will be 10 to 20 buildings in a. In this condition, we need to concentrate on individual residential building planning and also planning a layout, improving the existing conditions in developed area and also to regulate the future developments. This is table of existing buildings. If you see this individual residential building total in 3 years, 89.85% are individual buildings. Only apartments is only 4.73% buildings applications. Even these apartments also ranging from 10 to 12 flats. Each apartment, average apartment, one building consists of 10 to 12 flats. Larger projects are only 15 to 20 applications per year in Andhra Pradesh. So this is not, because we don't have any, even metropolitan cities, we have Vijayawada and Visakhapatnam. These are all not larger size, 10 to 20 lakh population. And also people's mindset and also, I don't know, but these things are happening. Only we are concerned, our people are very much interested in individual residential buildings and individual plotted development. These are all even individual buildings, each average size of each unit is 925. In case of apartment, 1325 square feet. In case of high-rise multi-story buildings, it is about more than 2,600 square feet. So individual buildings are not, individual building means it is not of this villa type. In existing plot, they are constructing 2 units. So each unit consisting of 950 square feet. This is the present scenario in Andhra Pradesh. So open spaces, so our cities must be chemical, biological and all, okay. So finally, I suggest the way forward. Research on ancient science relating to earth energies to locate various activities in spatial planning, prioritize regional planning, settlement hierarchy, urban village clusters. In Andhra Pradesh, each district we have one urban cluster consisting of 300 to 500 square kilometers. We have prepared master plans for these clusters to attract investments and also to provide jobs in that particular cluster. This is the project. Everybody knows this is project taken up by Ministry of Rural Development. So 13 districts, 13 clusters. In addition to this, if we plan for the entire state, if state is having spatial plan, regional plan, then these urban clusters can be, urban means it is cluster of villages. One major village will be there, surrounded by few small villages, that we call it as cluster. In this cluster, we plan all amenities, and also we propose all urban amenities will be available in these clusters to attract investments and also to provide employment opportunities. We need to incorporate changes in zoning regulations, allowing certain activities which are permissible in the light of home occupation and all. And also we need to prioritize EWS housing with appropriate size of dwelling unit. Smaller the unit, more there will be more dangerous and also inconvenient for them.